Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And we're going to take a look at Westminster, because it is all kicking off down there, isn't it? It's all to do with amendments, with motions, with the SNP saying it would have been their day. It was supposed to be their opposition day. Lindsay Hoyle going into secretive meetings with Keir Starmer. He's denying he had Sue Gray there, but who knows what the truth is. Secret nasty little deals look like they may have been done. This motion that was taken away from the SNP and basically given to Labour. The SNP are unhappy. Now, I completely disagree with the SNP, but I do feel on this occasion they are right. This should have been their motion. You must stick to the rules. Standing orders were ignored and changed. Lindsay Hoyle, the Speaker, was warned what would happen. He was warned by the clerks that this would happen. He knew full well. And yet he still went ahead with it. It's annoyed the SNP. It's annoyed the Tories. And so you've now got this very strange situation where the SNP and the Tories are on the same side. And it appears that it was done purely to stop a meltdown within the Labour Party, of which, of course, Lindsay Hoyle is a member. A lot of people are now saying he must go, he's no longer tenable, he no longer has the trust of the House, and he must resign immediately. And it may well be that he does. But we'll take a look at this story, see what's going on. Here goes. So, Speaker has just 24 hours to save his job. Furious MPs launch a Just Stop Hoyle campaign, with 33 demanding Sir Lindsay quits after he sparked Commons' meltdown by bending the rules to save Keir Starmer from huge revolt on Gaza. Bending the rules and bending the knee. He is supposed to be independent. He was anything but. And the government are right to call him out on it. Penny Mordaunt called him out on it. And he didn't like it. And when he was giving that apology, for anyone who watched it yesterday evening, and he had tears in his eyes, and there was a quavering in his voice. And I think he knew that that was because he was about to lose his job. He knew he'd overstepped. He'd gone too far, and he'd breached all sorts of protocols. He had stood as not an independent speaker, but a pro-Labour speaker. And he did so because he wanted to save his own party from internal squabbling, rather than stepping back and being what they need, an independent speaker. Until yesterday, he was highly regarded. He was liked even. He was thought of as being a fine speaker. And by the close of play yesterday evening, it looks like he's gone. He's really just pushed it far too far. Speaker Lindsay Hoyle was given 24 hours to save his job today after sparking a Commons meltdown by bending the rules. I'm not going to have bending the rules. Breaking the rules. There is a standing order and he went directly against it. And he was warned by the clerk, so he knew what he was doing. Anyway, this was to save Sir Keir Starmer from a Gaza revolt. Some 33 MPs have already signed a parliamentary motion voicing no confidence in the presiding officer, following extraordinary scenes in the chamber overnight. The SNP and Tory MPs walked out after Sir Lindsay upended parliamentary convention by selecting Labour's bid to amend an SNP motion calling for an immediate ceasefire. So they were doing that against the standing orders. And also, it was the SNP's opposition motion day. It should never have been Labour. But before this went out into Parliament, Sir Keir Starmer and another fella, I can't remember if it was the Chief Whip perhaps, were in a meeting, locked, silent, with Lindsay Hoyle. They had a meeting, and then this happens. If it wasn't an act of Starmer influencing the Speaker to save the Labour Party, then it looks incredibly suspicious. By anyone's sort of intelligent view on this, this was undoubtedly a stitch-up. And it was a stitch-up done at the behest of the Labour Party to try and save Sir Keir Starmer from an embarrassing failure. A man who at the beginning did not want and call for this ceasefire. Him being married to a Jewish woman and having Jewish children, his children being raised Jewish, he stood on the side of Israel. But because of the Muslim vote on the Labour Party, he knew he had to throw his wife and children under the bus and vote the way that the Muslims wanted him to vote. And when you're getting Muslim mobs threatening MPs because they're standing up and saying no, then you know this country has got a far bigger problem than this Israeli-Hamas war. Anyway, the step taken in defiance of advice from the Commons clerks, he was told, meant that Scots nationalists did not get a chance to vote on their own Opposition Day debate. Sir Lindsay initially tried to leave one of his deputies to field anger in the House before MPs finally dragged him back in to face the music. In a grovelling and near tearful apology, Sir Lindsay acknowledged he regretted the choice, arguing he was motivated by anxiety about the safety of MPs from pro-Palestinian protesters. The police need to go in mob-handed and arrest every single one of them and file them into court and have the court sit in 24 hours and just file them in and go guilty, 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 and jail, 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 jail. And any of them that are not British citizens on a plane and out. Straight away. Immediately. Fine them. Do everything. Take their houses from them, because you can guarantee that will stop them in their tracks. Anyway, he flatly denied that he'd been influenced by partisan concerns. Well, I'm going to call that out for what it is. That's a lie. And I will say it, and I am going to say it without fear. That is clearly a lie. He was definitely partisan. This is despite claims that Keir Starmer personally lobbied him, and he was told he would have blood on his hands if the amendment was not selected. They are pushing this guy, and he folded faster than Superman on Laundry Day. He went down and he broke his oath to be an independent Speaker of the House. He ceased at that moment to fulfil his duties, and with that, he's got to go. So Lindsay is set to meet party leaders later today as he fights to cling on, and could suffer a fresh barrage from critics during business questions in the House this morning. And indeed, Penny Mordaunt, God bless her, and all who sail in her, because she's going to be standing there today. Now, normally on a Thursday, it's the old Penny and Deirdre show, but I think today it may be somewhat different. We're going to definitely watch that when it comes up. Touring broadcast studios for the government this morning, Health Minister Maria Caulfield warned Sir Lindsay's position is difficult, and she was disappointed in his actions. Ms Caulfield told Sky News she would struggle to support him, adding ominously, "We'll see what happens in the next 24 hours." And there he is, a man who bent the knee, and he did it for his own party, simply to save Keir Starmer's arse. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And that man should be ashamed as well, going to the Speaker, having secret meetings and then denying it when people saw him going in. They know. And for him to deny that he was talking anything about this, I think that also is a lie. He is an odious, slimy, oleaginous toad, and he needs to go as well. Reports of a visit for Sir Keir raised questions about the degree to which the Labour leader leaned on the Speaker as the decision on votes was being considered. Commons leader Penny Mordaunt also launched a bruising attack on Sir Lindsay, claiming that he had hijacked the debate and undermined the confidence of the House in long-standing rules. They could come face to face again later today when she delivers a business statement in the Commons. If he doesn't turn up to hear that, then we know he's running scared. We know he's spineless, and we know he's finished. The only way he can deal with this is he's got to sit there as Speaker and not put out a deputy like a coward, craven, crawling insect. The row erupted when Sir Lindsay debated on the Commons would vote first on the Labour's amendment before moving on to further votes on the SNP's original motion, and then a government proposal seeking an immediate humanitarian pause. Now, that's not the correct way of doing it. It should have been the SNP's vote first. It's their motion. That's the rules. That's the standing orders of the House. He decided to do it the other way. Why? Because Keir Starmer needed that first. Otherwise, there'd be a big revolt within Labour. He disregarded warnings from the House of Commons clerks over the unprecedented nature of the move, which provoked uproar in the chamber. And after calls for him to return to the chamber, they basically dragged him back. When you watch the video of it, he'd gone and he'd left his not even his first reserve speaker, someone well down the list, third or fourth reserve speaker, to sit there and try and control a situation that was escalating quickly into near chaos. And there was a lot of ill feeling in that house, and he basically just dropped her in and said, right, I'm out of here, I'm scarpering. He's away. And off he went. He did not want to sit in that room and be told exactly what was going on to his face. So he ran away very bravely. And then he was effectively, when you watch, he was effectively dragged back and put into the chair. He did not want to go in it. And he did, he had to. Anyway, amid shouts of resign, he said, I thought I was doing the right thing and the best thing, and I regret it, and I apologise for how it's ended up. Well, that's fine. You can apologise. Write it down and say you're sorry in your resignation letter. Tobias Ellwood, whose family home was recently targeted by pro-Palestinian protesters, rejected the argument Sir Lindsay needed to select the amendment to protect MPs from backlash. The former minister told Talk TV, I don't agree with that. I don't understand. I listened carefully to when he said that and slightly raised my eyebrows. My family have been affected by this. It's been very clear. Despite that, I have people outside my house, which was absolutely bizarre. But I think this idea is somehow the Speaker was trying to then offer options to MPs to then choose was wrong. He said, we've done better for all three parties, which I then said in the debate yesterday, to go away, work out a sensible line, a motion that the whole House could agree to. And so the world can see that we are united in wanting to move forward to this. Said it was really a circus yesterday. The evening's mayhem in scenes reminiscent of the collapse of Liz Truss and Brexit battles at Westminster raised thoughts among the MPs of an effort to oust Sir Lindsay as Speaker in a plot some are dubbing Just Stop Hoyle. And it's a very clever play on words, which we must admit. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that are not happy with this. An early day motion tabled by senior Tory William Wet Rag, as he's known, expressing no confidence in the Speaker, has already attracted support from 33 Conservative and SNP MPs. And there we go. I mean, this is just stunning that you're getting the SNP and the Tories, normally, natural enemies of each other, but actually on the same side and pushing it because they all agree. They all agree that he has to go, and I think he absolutely has to go. I'm not going to go through all the names, but they are there. Pete Wishart definitely is on there. I saw him on Sky News being interviewed, and he said it was appalling. He said, he says there's been some bad stuff done over the years. He said, but this was like one of the worst that he's ever seen. And who's the Sky News woman? I can see her name, Beth Rigby. And Beth Rigby says, she said, I've been covering this for 20 years. I've been covering the lobbies for 20 years. She said, I've never seen anything like it. And she says, the level of anger is palpable, she said. You could actually feel it in the air. It was electric. So I don't think Hoyle will last. I think he's done. And I think he'll have to go today. And so he's brought it on himself. He's an arsehole. He's done it himself. He was told not to. And he thought, yeah, I'll do it. And so there he is. That's him probably in his last full day of employment as Speaker of the House of Commons. What an idiot coming up. Well, there's not really a lot more to add to that, really, is there? I think he's got to go. I think it's undoubted now. His position's untenable. He's been caught out. He's biased. He's partisan. He's failed to obey the rules. And then he's come back and made some tearful apology in the hope that tears cut it. No, Lindsay Hoyle, they don't. You are shameful, and you should never have done it. And you were warned and you knew, and yet still you did. So don't be coming the cod and saying, oh, look at me, I didn't know it was going to end up like this. You knew full well that it would make people very, very angry. Time for a new Speaker. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.